Fozzie, how was your what's the word? Interview with Jeremy Docker yesterday.
Oh, right, yes. I did an interview with Jeremy Docker yesterday, everybody, lads. Amazon, it was good. It was good, to be fair. Yeah, we went down to, where were we? Up to Manchester. We played pool, we played bowling.
How'd you get on?
Battered him, mate. He were dog shit. He were rubbish, weren't
he grew up in a social club.
Right, okay.
So he's quite good at darts and snooker. Did you do much as a kid?
Little bits, yeah, when I was younger. Little bits of darts, pool. Yeah, stuff like that.
You're an academy kid, though, so you don't get too much time to do that. You're training nights and all sorts, aren't you?
Yeah. To be fair, my dad used to drink every Friday night. Used to go to the golf club, play cards.
Yeah.
So I'd always go with him. And then my mum would pick me up, and then he'd sort of carry on. But then they shut the golf club down, and he had to move to the bowls club that was just down the road.
Yeah.
So, but at that time, like, no one was playing bowls.
Yeah.
Because it was like late. So I'd get on there, and there was one other young lad as well, and I actually got really good at like
flat green.
bowls.
Yeah.
It was like an indoor club.
We got one up the road from us. It's class.
Really? Yeah.
It's class.
Oh, it's brilliant. Loved it.
It's good fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
We did it in Australia once for work, and I was like, this is fun.
Mate, we're in Leamington, right? They have the World Championships. Like, you know when the Olympics are on? They have the Olympics finals, like, in Leamington, like literally in Victoria Park.
Like the world champs.
Proper. Victoria Park is like they've got a load of them in that. Yeah.
What, like 4 or 5 big
proper world championships.
Ram down there when it's on.
I remember. So there's a place in Tamworth where I grew up. So this is going back years before I started school, and I remember my mum used to take me. There's one bowling green there. She used to take me during the day when my sister was at school. And, like, we'd go and sit on the bench and watch them. So yeah, got a bit of a history with the game.
Talent.
Yeah, there's an art to it, though, isn't there?
Yeah, damn right.
I bet you, all the times over your career when people have gone, any hidden talents, you bet you've never said flat green balls.
It's the first time I've ever mentioned it.
It's good, lads.
It's obviously going back years. The biggest thing I remember about them nights was how people used to smoke inside.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, there was guys either side of me smoking cigars and that, and like this, I just remember the smoke.
Mate, remember when we first started going out? Like, when did they put the smoking ban in? It must have been 20 years ago.
We were about 20.
Yeah, it'd be about 20 odd years ago. But if we went on a night out, like, because obviously from like 17, 18, you're out, you'd stink, wouldn't you? But it is what it is. Like, it just was what it was.
And got in at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I was watching the other day. I was watching something, and they were doing about old. They were talking about old sports photos, and they were like, "Have you ever wondered why they look so good?" And there's like a little haze colour in the air, and they were like, "It's smoking. It's smoking." And I was like, "Oh yeah, of course."
Sure, yeah, it does. Nice little effect. Filter before like smartphones and filters. Yeah, that's what smoke was. Right, lads, should we talk about some of the weekend's football? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch the Chelsea game yesterday?
I did watch the Chelsea game yesterday, Man United game actually, because it was at Old Trafford. Before we get into that though, the new set, everybody, what do you reckon? Let us know in the comments down below. It's not fully finished.
Let us know last week, didn't they? When it wasn't done.
In fairness, they rightly let us know, because last week we had it was like wood.
It was temporary.
It's like we were in the midst of a forest. Like, it was wood everywhere, mate. It was disgusting, right? Anyway, we've altered it, we've changed it a little bit, and I quite like it, yeah?
Someone said sack the designer, and we did have a little bit of a post-mortem, didn't we? And I said, who gave your brother the brief? Because we had a discussion about it, and then it changed to wood everywhere. Yeah, I might have said that.
Yeah, I might have said that. Anyway, we've tinkered with it a little bit, got some TV screens, a bit of paraphernalia, shirts. Anything else you want to see, let us know in the comments down below. Right, Man United, Chelsea. It was okay. It was okay. Before we get into the game and anything else, Martinez, red card, yes or no?
Yeah, red card for me.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think when you go stood showing at that height, I think it's hard not to give a red card there.
I think it was very similar to a couple of weeks back with James Maddison, Bruno Fernandes. You remember that challenge?
Yeah.
It was similar, but worse.
Yeah.
And Bruno got a red card on the pitch. And in this game, I thought the referee was so quick to get a yellow card out, because he didn't want to have to get stuff overturned or make his decision any other way. He was so quick to get the yellow card out that I thought,
I think the only thing you can say, and you can argue against it, is he's not made like full contact. He's like leaning a little bit, so he's only just caught him down the side. But as soon as you go in like that,
I think if that was a different player, I might have questioned whether it was a red card or not. But with it being Martinez,
he's got a rep though, hasn't he? Because he
got a
has
rep.
got that little streak in him. I mean, it was against Fulham and he didn't make contact, but that double
Mate,
double
it's a
foot.
miracle he didn't get a red card there as well, because that is a leg breaker. So, I think it probably was a red card. But I think this is probably a better result for Man United than what it is for Chelsea, to be fair. Do you know what? As an interesting one, again, we're going to talk about the game in a second, but I was listening to Talk Sport after the game, and Alan Pardew was on, and he spoke really well, actually. And the question was raised was, which squad would you prefer? If you were a manager and you had to take over a squad, which of them two squads would you rather have?
Chelsea.
I think it is Chelsea. I think it is Chelsea just because of their young, exciting, like going forward, like unbelievable. But yeah, I think going back to the summer, you probably wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, good shout.
You probably wouldn't have said that. Whereas now I look at it and you see the way they're playing and the start they've had. I think it's a really good squad.
It's fair dues, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fair dues, because they was getting ridiculed. Like Maresca was getting absolutely battered in the summer, wasn't he, for buying too many players and too many in the same positions. And then he did that press conference where he said, no, actually, I've got 2 players for every position, and this is what it looks like. And it's paying off.
It's modern day football, and I think we're going to talk about it later, but we were on the bandwagon of what's he doing? And actually, you look at how they've started the season. Cole Palmer's not registered to play in Europe, is that right?
I like it.
And they've changed 11 players from the midweek game, and when you've got Arteta's, Kyle Walker coming out and saying about games, and you think, in this day and age, with the intensity of the game, having 2 squads or 2 starting 11s is...
What do you reckon to that? So Cole Palmer not included in the Europa squad. I personally think it's a good shout.
I think it's risky.
Yeah.
I do think it's risky. But they can change that
later on.
Later
bring
on,
him in for the later stages.
So yeah, possibly. Yeah, good shout. Like in terms of this period now, where it's like start of the season and the first few games, they probably won't need him too much in that competition. It keeps him fresh, don't it? It keeps him fresh for the league.
Sorry, Fozzie. What about the one position where I think pre-season we were saying they've got 7, 8 goalies or whatever? Like we were talking off camera, weren't we? And like Sanchez's mistake for the penalty. And I said to you, I can't see them winning anything with him in goal.
It's a needless penalty. It's a really needless penalty. Højlund's going away from goal. His touch straight away is taking him away. Sanchez, I think he kind of slips a little bit. He kind of guesses that he's going to shoot, tries to spread himself, but then realises he's trying to run away with it. So he slips a little bit, which forces him to try and get the ball. But I think in hindsight, he'll look at that and he'll go, I should have stayed on my feet more. I should have tried to just shepherd him out. Even if I don't really actually attack the ball and go for it, it doesn't look to me like he'll be able to pivot his body and shoot into that corner. So maybe just sort of cover that area a bit more. But I think it's just rash and is needless, and he didn't need to go and do that or get involved in that little space there. And it's, at the end of the day, he's given a goal away.
And what about Amorim coming in? So obviously he's, 39, is he?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I think it's good that he's come in, but I think it speaks volumes of the kind of the state that United are in, because they've made these signings of Wilcox, Ashworth, Barada, all these big guys coming in, and I thought they're going to get the house in order here.
Yeah.
And then they didn't pull the trigger on Ten Hag. And for me, we're back in this cycle now of Amorim coming in, and I'm already hearing things about Fernandes won't fit in his formation. This player won't do that, and you think, well, he's left with another 200 or 300 million pounds worth of players that he's going to say they're not my players. What do you make of that?
I think, firstly, I would have loved to have seen a bit more of Ruud van Nistelrooy, like in charge. Like I know
United fans love him as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I've seen him play against Leicester the other night, and even going forward, they just look like they've got just this freedom of attacking football. So I would have liked to have seen that. But I agree with you. I think like the state that Man United are in at the minute, I think it speaks volumes. They've tried every type of manager, it seems. Like they've obviously had Louis van Gaal, they've had David Moyes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like all these different criteria managers. And I look at it and I just think it's like they don't really know what it is that's going to fix this problem. I think it's deeper roots.
It is deeper roots. Everybody's on 300 grand a week, mate, and they're all bothered. That's what it is. Seriously. Like, you're paying for the biggest club in the world. The pressure is phenomenal, and it's easier to go, do you know what? I don't fancy it today. I'd rather not be involved.
But what happens, Fozzie, if Amorim comes in and goes, I I don't fancy Xerxes. I don't fancy Ugarte. What happens then?
He needs to have full autonomy. He needs to be the main guy. He has to be able to come into that building and go, no, 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 yes, 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 yes. That's it, we're doing it, yeah? Like Maresca has done. It's been brutal in the summer, it has, hasn't it? It's been brutal at Chelsea. He's cast aside players, you're not involved, but it's kind of worked because he's got his house in order. He's got the squad that he wants, he's got the players that he wants, and Amorim has to be able to do that. He has to be allowed to do that as well, because if he's not, then it'll just be the same as all the other managers. But if he can get the players he wants and go, you lot, go and find another club, even if you're here for another year, that's fine, it is what it is, he's going to have to do that. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
I think as well, like, you got a manager coming in. Yeah, he needs to be tactically clever. He needs to be able to play the United way because that's what the fans want to see. But I think his biggest challenge is the dressing room. Yeah. It is the dressing room because you look at some of the smaller clubs and that have been in the Premier League over the time, and they've picked up so many points just from having like a good group of players in the dressing room, and there's so much to be said for it. If United had that, along with the quality that they could sign, like it's
there's no surprise that you've got your Liverpools and your Man Cities that are perennially, they're always up there because the manager is allowed and made to make sure that he is the boss, the controller. He knows that if somebody's not a good lad or a bad egg, Jurgen Klopp said it the other day about Liverpool actually, didn't he? He said something like, if I had a player who purposely went out to do something...
It was Sergio Ramos.
Sergio Ramos. Yeah. He was talking about injuring Mo Salah, wasn't he, in the Champions League? He said, if I had a bad egg or somebody that I felt wasn't on the same wavelength as me, gone, get rid of. Yeah. And that's exactly what these managers need to have. They need to be allowed to have that power. Maresca's been given it. Amorim needs it. It's as simple as that.
Well, about up to St James's, Fozzie. So we were, again, talking off camera. Every time I watch Newcastle, right, the first thing that gets me is, even watching it on TV, the noise. Yeah. The noise at St James's.
How good is the atmosphere at St James's?
I've played there in both situations. So I played there when it weren't good as well. I think it might have been Steve Bruce was in charge at the time, and like it was, they got on their back straight
it's
away.
Toxic,
and
isn't
it
it, when it's
toxic.
bad?
Like I think we went a goal up early, and it was toxic. But then I've also played there in a cup game where they've scored a last-minute goal, and the noise, that stand behind the goal, oh my God. But even like the stand behind you, how big is that stand?
Massive.
It's so
all
big.
of it's massive. It's funny that you say that.
You won't have walked to pit you two, though, will you?
Yeah, to be fair, we're lucky we haven't. But that's what we used to say at Newcastle. We used to go there and we'd go, lads, start quick, because if we can score an early goal against Newcastle, it can quieten the crowd and we can get on
You always
top.
said that about Goodison as well, didn't you?
Goodison, exactly the same, because if you started well and you went up a goal or maybe even 2 goals, the fans can very quickly turn. Newcastle's a completely different story nowadays. Completely new ownership, there's a lot of more spirit behind it, everybody seems on board, so even when they do go a goal down, the fans are still going absolutely crazy.
Do you know what I think it is as well, is they appreciate, and I know this sounds so rudimentary, like basic, but they appreciate effort, right? And when you've got runners in the team, like Ramirez, Joel Linton, Gordon, like Willock, they run hard, don't they? But, like, we've got to ask you, Anthony Gordon, as a winger, mate.
Cross. I watched it, I must have watched it 6 or 7 times. It's such a hard technique to hit it as the ball's moving, like, it's moving with him and he's just... Like,
First time.
He's not even took a touch, he's not even set himself. It's just on his head. Like, for a striker, that must be a dream. Like, it must be an absolute dream. But I just think, like, all of them, the players that they've got, like the ones that you've said, like, yeah, they're workhorses, but they've just got so much quality, haven't they, going forward?
When you talk about squads or players and like changing rooms, having a good changing room, good group of lads, you know that Newcastle have got that. Again, talking about the cross, it's so perfect, you couldn't put it in a better place.
No, you couldn't.
Like, Isak hasn't got to change his run, he hasn't got to alter it, he hasn't got to slow down. He just keeps going at that same pace, and it's just a case of getting a contact on it because he's so close and it's so whipped. He knows that as long as he hits the target, it's a goal. It's as simple as that. It's on what they say is on a plate, and it was on a silver plate.
How good is Anthony Gordon in terms of, like, England players, and should he be starting? How good do you think he is?
Well, I think he's getting better.
I agree.
Like, I think when he first signed, I was a little bit unsure. Like, I weren't fully sold. But I think he's just getting better. I think he's got the right manager in charge of him. I think he's at the right club, because I think if he was at a Chelsea or he was at one of the other top clubs, I don't think he would be playing as much. Yeah. Whereas he's there, and he's you've got to think as well, like Harvey Barnes. He's keeping Harvey Barnes out of the team, and he is a proper player. So he's got every side to it. Like you say, he's known for not just his quality, but like his work rate as well. And I think because he's got both sides of it, I think that's why he's appreciated so much. And that's something probably that he brings different to a lot of the players in his position, the English players in his position when you're looking at the England squad.
On to Arsenal though, and they were obviously very poor, lacked complete creativity, never really looked like scoring a goal whatsoever. Obviously missing Martin Odegaard, that goes without saying. But I think the Newcastle goal that they scored is the exact sort of goal that Arsenal can't score because they haven't got that out-and-out striker, somebody to put the ball in the box. They've got Kai Havertz, who's a big lad, but I still wouldn't back him to score that header. I really wouldn't. I just think maybe one every 2 or 3 you might put away, but other than that, wherever it falls to Isak, oh no, it's going in the back of the net. And that's the bit for me that Arsenal will always just fall a little bit short for. I think there's been a few occasions this season as well that have really, really held Arsenal back as well. Obviously, the red card at Brighton, the red card at Bournemouth, not holding on to the 2-1 lead against Man City, letting in that last-minute goal. And then obviously Martin Odegaard injury. Them 4 big things have really derailed Arsenal this season.
I think that last one you said was massive. Like, because of the way that they play, Odegaard's massive for them. So I think they've missed him so much, like his creativity.
You could see, couldn't you? You could see in the game on Saturday that they obviously had a lot more possession, they had a lot more of the ball, but there was no real spark.
Killer instinct.
You couldn't see them, a ball going through and players getting through. You just couldn't see it happening because nobody on the pitch had that identity about them to want to get on the ball and want to dictate it. Could they?
I was listening yesterday and someone was saying about, there's not many teams that have, from this stage in the season, been this far behind and come on to win. And you're hearing these things. It's way too early, surely, still to say they're out of the title race because they beat Man City in the return fixture.
Yeah.
Surely it's too early, Fozzie.
Maybe we're not talking about Liverpool enough then, mate, because they've, won 8 out of their 10 so far? They just seem to be able to keep going while other teams are dropping points. Liverpool are the ones that...
Yeah, but Arsenal aren't out of it, are they?
I don't know, I think they might be. I really do, yeah. I think they might be.
See, I think this season could be a little bit different to other seasons I do. I think there'll be more... Like, the top teams will drop more points than they usually do.
A lower points total.
Yeah. I think, like, people are talking a lot about the amount of games or whatever. I think that's going to play a massive part.
Injuries will play a massive... It's already started to play a massive part as well, hasn't it? It's who can keep their squad fitter for longer throughout the season and have it available.
We touched on it earlier, but it's the importance of the squad. Because, like, when you think back to when you guys started your career, the intensity that some teams, like, press at, like, that is going to, over the course of a season, that's going to take an effect, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I think there's... The players nowadays are more suited to that. I think they're fitter, they're stronger. They're like a lot of players. Yeah, back when sort of we started, I think players weren't as fit as they are now.
Without doubt.
And they definitely wouldn't be able to handle the intensity of this. I just look at like my career and when I first signed for Leicester, I couldn't believe the difference. Like from when I signed for Leicester to when I left Leicester, how fitter some of the young lads are, and like how
much more professional, basically.
It was Mike Owen a few months ago, and he said he felt that players were purer back in the day, and now it's more athletic.
Yeah, it is. They're more athletes than footballers.
And do you know what I think? I actually agree with him on that because you look at the Euros in the summer, and I would struggle to say who were the stars of that Euro.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, who were the players that were magic? And there was a few. You go back to the Euros in like the early 2000s and it's just littered with
ballers. Ballers wanting to do it.
Which
actually brings us nicely then onto Bournemouth Man City, because before the game you got Pep Guardiola talking about the injury list. It was a bit of mind games, to be fair, because he actually went and named a load of the players on the starting lineup and on the bench. But then after the game you had Kyle Walker talking about the overload of games and too many games and the lads actually being a bit tired, which you got a bit of grief for, to be fair, because we're only 10 games in. I think Man City probably, though, even though we're 10 games in, have still played about 16 or 18 games, haven't they? If you look at Champions League, if you look at League Cup, they've got another Champions League match on Tuesday, I think, away at Sporting. Is it the games that tire them out, or is it everything else? Is it the travelling? Is it the warm downs? Is it the here, there, and everywhere?
I think it's a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. We're only a certain amount of games in, but they don't even get much of a break in the summer these days.
Yeah.
Like it's like it just goes straight through. Especially like if Man City players are, they're international footballers, and big competitions in the summer, you're probably getting 3 weeks off, like 3-4 weeks off.
If
I know,
that.
if that. I know Pep Guardiola seems quite good for it.
He's
like,
very good. From what I've heard, he gives the lads a good whack off. He lets them make sure. So if they've been away at the major tournament, or the Spanish lads obviously went to the final, he made sure they had 3 weeks off, solid, complete rest, shut down, don't even think about football.
But yeah, I do think it's the travelling, being away from your families.
That's like the mental fatigue, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
I heard Joe Hart talking about it the other night. He was speaking about it, and he says you've literally got to be tunnel visioned. Yeah, you've got your family and you've got to make sure everything's all right at home and stuff like this. But you can't let anything derail you. If you want to win titles, win trophies, win cups, like you can't let anything derail you.
But that's why they've got to use their squads, isn't it? This is why they've got to use
Yeah, it's a good shout.
squads.
It's a really good shout. Yeah, they've like I said, the Chelsea model is, I think, for me, perfect. You've got 2 squads basically. Yeah. You've got 2 squads. You rest your key players for the Champions League matches. He hasn't even got to travel. Cole Palmer hasn't even got to travel, which is again going back to that mental fatigue part. So
Have a day off.
if you're look at Man City for example. There we did obviously this thing with Jeremy Doku. He was telling us about they've got Sporting Lisbon on Tuesday. So they played against Bournemouth. It's away at Bournemouth. It's obviously it'll be a flight for them, won't it? So it's a lot quicker, but still it's all the travel here, there, and everywhere. They'll have a warm down on Sunday, a little bit of training on Monday, and then it's straight to the airport again, flying over to Portugal. And people go, but they're travelling first class. They're travelling. It doesn't matter.
It's a process.
It
of
doesn't
travelling,
matter. Travelling is a grind, regardless of what you do. I don't care whether you're travelling first class or economy. It's still a grind. You're having to wait. You're sitting down, up, down, waiting.
But Fozzie, they're playing Lisbon, and Amorim's going to be in charge.
Mate, right, how much banter would it be? Yeah, how much banter would it be that if Ruben Amorim's first ever taste of like a proper big Premier League team is if Man City go and pop them 6 or 7-0 or something. You know for a fact that the memes have already started. So as soon as he takes charge of Man United on the 10th of November or whatever it is, he's already got a 6-0 defeat under his bag to Man City. And then he's got to go and start taking charge. Oh, it'll be horrible, won't it? It'll be
But what about, you've got to give props to Bournemouth.
Oh, incredible. Bournemouth at home are a proper team, mate. I don't care what you say. Bournemouth at home are a completely different team to their away.
Do a lot of teams give Man City too much respect? Because, yes, when Man City played Bournemouth the other day, it looked like Bournemouth did not give a shit. And they just went at them, and the intensity and speed.
You don't see many teams do that, do you?
I think when you play Man City, the game can be over in the first 10 minutes. Like you could be, especially at the Etihad, like you could be 2 or 3-0 down within the first 10 minutes and it's game over, and then it's just like, right, consolidate like the 3-0 defeat. But I think Bournemouth did it, like you say, Bournemouth at home are a proper team. Yeah. Like they spotted something there and they thought, right, let's go intense from minute 1. Like let's go intense, and that's what they did. And then they got a bit of confidence, got a couple of good chances. And then it breeds confidence.
Yeah, without doubt, yeah.
So they just went from strength to strength, and they kept up that intensity for the
all through the game. Like, a lot of teams, if they score, so Wolves, for example, the other week against Man City, scored early doors, right? And you've got the commentator going, "This is incredible! What a start! It's the dream start." And I'm thinking, no, it's not. It's the worst time to start. It's horrible because they're going to be defending for their lives for 90 minutes now, and that's exactly how it turned out. They were just defending for their lives. And Bournemouth scored, and I thought, don't just sit back, please don't. And they didn't, not even a thought of it. They kept going. They could have gone 2 up, they could have gone 3 up.
They could have gone 3 up when Smith missed that chance.
Exactly that. They could have, but you don't see that. You never see that. They must have sensed that. They must have sensed that Man City are depleted, that they've got injuries, they might be tired mentally, physically. They've sensed it and they've gone, no, we're going to go for the kill here. And fair dues to them as well, because there's not many teams do that to Man City, ever.
They've got the quality as well.
Yeah.
So, like, in wide areas in particular, they seem to have this real quality. Yeah. And Semenyo,
he'll get a move soon, Semenyo will. He's getting too many goals, too many assists, that it's inevitable, isn't it?
But even his work rate as well, we spoke about Gordon, like, he works back and forth as well, which for a player that's scoring goals, getting assists, it's rare that they've got that other side to it as well. So he brings them so much because he can do that intensity stuff.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good result for the Premier League, let's say, wasn't it? With Arsenal dropping points as well, it just makes it a little bit more interesting because I think everybody still worries that come Christmas time, Man City are just going to win every game until the end of the season. It's not
naive. It might be naive,
but
I can't see them doing that level of run.
It's not a guaranteed thing. I think people think it's
it's
like a computer game or something that once December kicks in, then
the switch goes on.
Switch goes on.
I mean, they have got history for it.
They have got history, but it can't. It's not a guaranteed. It has to happen. By the way, it's not. I'm with you. I think this year's a bit different. I think there'll be a much lower total points.
Yeah,
at the end of the season.
What about this geezer behind you, Ben? Because last week I wanted to bring back Champ of the Week. We used to do this thing in the show, Champ of the Week, and it was like the guy. And I reckon we should put Champ of the Week on one of the screens. I think it's Dom Solanke.
Yeah, very, very good. He's needed this. He really needed this against a very good team as well. His first goal was proper, because the ball's through. Obviously, he's holding his line, and he's only just onside. It's absolutely perfect. He's looking across the line as well, judges it to perfection. But then when the ball comes across him, there's a lot of players that can panic in that situation, can't they? If you've played that ball through, you're thinking, just relax, you've got time. But the thing is, when you have got time, that's when you can panic a little bit, and it's like, I just want to put the ball in the back of the net. But he sees Martinez come in out the corner of his eye. He doesn't let him know that he's seen him either. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
If he looked at him, Emi Martinez would have thought, well, he's seen me. I need to stay up big, all right? Because he's going to probably dink me. But what he's done is he's just looked out the corner of his eye, seen Martinez come in, pretended like he's like, I'm not aware, and then boom, the little chip comes, perfection.
What about the jostling for the first goal? So Rodgers for Villa. Did you see the jostling and Vicario? Is that just fair game, Matt?
I think we might have difference of opinions here. I don't know, but I think it's fair game. Like goalkeepers are very protected, and I do get it to some extent. I can't remember what was the one. There was one the weekend where the ball was in the goalkeeper's hands, and I think he catches his arm.
Jose Sarr, it would be the last.
That's it. Like I actually think that's. I think that is a foul on the goalkeeper.
Do you? I love that.
So I'm not totally biased, but I think in that, especially in the court, like from corners, set pieces, I do think that goalkeepers are so protected. You should be able to sort of lean into them a little, as long as your arms aren't up and you're not stopping them from their arms. I think it's fair game. Because they give as much.
I agree with that. I completely agree with that. I think if they're on your toes and you're giving it a bit, they're giving it a bit. Cool, completely agree. It's when you start pulling arms up and you're making direct movements. That's when I think it's a bit of a grey area and you have to be a little bit more careful. But it's obviously become a thing now where other teams are targeting Tottenham and Vicario in particular because they see that on corners or set pieces, balls into the box, that he's not so dominant, he's not so strong. You look at him in stature as well. I think he's 6'2", 6'3", but physically, you can see he's not the biggest or strongest. He's not. So I think there's a lot of players that are looking to probably try and hold him off, get that ball into that area and just walk into the back.
You look at players like, obviously, Big Fraser's on the bench.
Yeah.
Right? Big Fraser's not having any of that, is he?
No, God, no. Big Fraser. You try and move the wall, you weren't moving it, mate. Honestly, you weren't moving him.
I think you need the players, he needs the players around him to protect him as well, though. He needs his defenders to be able to sort of give him that space away from it.
Yeah.
And what about Villa, Foz? Because the numbers don't lie, and we can only look into numbers so much.
Yeah.
But the contrast, I was looking yesterday, and there's like the intensity, like the sprint numbers, the high intensity runs, and Spurs completely dominated Villa. Would that be a worry for you if you're a Villa fan, or is it a blip?
I would probably chalk it off as a blip. Obviously, you know a bit more about Villa than I do, but I would chalk it as a blip because that is normally Villa's game, is that work rate and being organised and knowing what to do, high intensity, this, that and whatever. And I think it was one of those games where sometimes you have to go, lads, listen, we need to know what we've done wrong, but we move on from this.
Yeah. I think, like you say, it's one of them games. Probably just one of them halves as well, because I thought actually first half, I thought they did okay. I thought they looked good. They looked in control of the game, got the goal, but second half just didn't seem like them. And Tottenham's a tough place to go.
It is a tough place
and we speak about going a goal up and you're defending a little bit. And as soon as Tottenham get the first goal, it's then hard because they've got the onus trying to sort of break it down again.
You've got to look at some of the goals that Tottenham scored, ruthless goals, absolutely ruthless.
The cross for the first
Son's cross, isn't it? The pace and power on it. You know that if you're a winger, right, and you put that ball into there, every striker in the world's eyes are just going, give it to me. Even the defenders are hating every second of it because they know they have to try and pivot and switch and try and kick it. That's when you get scuffs, they'll hit off the corner, own goals for fun. It's a horrible ball. Honestly, it's an absolute murder ball. And when you've got a player like Sonny putting it in there, it's beautiful.
I love the way that Ange dealt with, because obviously Son came off and he looked surprised. I think for Son, that's his hissy
Well,
fit,
he
isn't
weren't
it?
happy.
Which
it was even
no,
on
but
the
he
bench.
went about it the right.
Yeah, he did go about it
way.
the right way. To be fair,
He didn't kick off.
But he didn't. No, but. I like the way that Ange dealt with it, basically. We've got a lot of games coming up. He was only ever going to play, 50 minutes or whatever it was. But this is the difference, though, between putting the ball in the back of the net and not. If you look at the Man United game, they had chances where they should have put the ball in the back of the net. And it's been like that for a few weeks with them. Last week as well, they should have put the ball in the back of the net against West Ham. They didn't. They end up getting punished for it. But if you're ruthless in front of goal, like Tottenham were on Sunday, you win games all the time.
And what about your old mate Madders? 50th Premier League goal.
Yeah.
How good, that's top ends, isn't it?
It is. It's incredible for it. I'm so happy for him as well. Obviously started on the bench. I can't imagine he'd be too happy about that.
Yeah.
But he's just got that free kick in it. I don't know whether he's caught Martinez by surprise. I know the whistle's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know whether.
I just think it's unsavable, mate. I think once you put it over that wall like that, right? Because it was a low one as well. Yeah. It's not like it was a big high loopy one. It literally just cleared the wall.
Yeah.
And once you just clear the wall like that, and again, it didn't hit the post, but you're talking that, yeah? You meant saving it, mate.
And it was close. It weren't sort of 25, 30 yards, was it? It was
It's
like
so hard,
close.
mate. If you hit the
hard
target there, it's a goal because you ain't saving it. You haven't got the reaction time.
It did look like Emmy was slightly off guard, though, didn't it? I know what you mean. He
His reaction after as well, he's looked over as if to say,
that can't go in there. That's not fair.
Do that again.
I'm the best goalie in the world again, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you reckon James Maddison can get the 100 club?
What is he?
How old's James Maddison? I'm going to say 27.
27.
I'm going to say 27.
I should know this.
Do you reckon James Maddison could get in the Premier League 100 club? 27, there you go.
When's he 28?
Oh, I don't know. It'd be so hard for him.
So he's
But
28
when he
soon.
does go on a run,
Yeah.
he scores goals.
James Maddison could score 10 goals a season, couldn't he?
5 seasons.
Yeah,
He could, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could. Yeah, quite easily.
Yeah, he could. It's a good shout.
I was surprised he's got up to 50, actually.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good numbers,
Massive.
isn't
He
it?
needs to
Massive
get
ball.
himself on penalties, don't he, really?
Yeah,
Then
needs
he
to get
would
himself
definitely
on
smash it,
penalties.
yeah. All these 100 club members, half of them are penalties, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
You're
is.
such a goalie, mate. You're such a hater. Old rivals of yours, Forest. How high up the league are they going to finish?
Not as high as they are now, I would say.
Jesus Christ, Nuno.
No,
Forest fans in the comments, by the way.
Yeah, obviously Forest fans in the comments. I'm going to be nice to them. They're playing with so much confidence, and I've seen them against Leicester a week or so ago, and at the weekend they're just, I don't know, everything's just free flowing. They're just exciting going forward again. They've just got exciting attackers.
Good hard workers, though.
Good hard workers.
Good
Chris
lads.
Wood, he's on fire. It helps. But he just don't seem like he can miss at the minute.
Yeah, I know.
On that game, I think the sending off is a big turning point as well.
massive,
I think that is a big turning point. And I think it's such a silly sending off.
Yeah, it is.
I remember watching it, I just think, there's no need to do it.
It's the nail in the coffin as well, isn't it? Because at that point there, the red card happens, you're already getting pumped. At half-time, by the way, West Ham made 2 substitutions. They were rubbish in that first half. I think they had their first shot on target in the 45th minute. If you're one of them 2 players that gets taken off at half-time, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Because you have been hoiked. You've been well and truly hoiked, haven't you?
It's just kind that he's left it until that point to do it because it could have happened before. You don't want to be that person that's getting took off in the first.
It's horrible, isn't
half.
it?
Oh no, it's the worst feeling. Worst feeling I can imagine.
What do you think? Where do you think Forest are going to come? I said after 2 or 3 games of the season, I said I reckon they're going to go top 8, and I reckon they will go top 8.
Honestly, top 10 is an incredible season for them.
Yeah,
It is, top 10 is incredible for them. If they can get in that top 8, it's world-class season. The big test that will come gone Christmas time. So once you get to that sort of 35, 40 point marker, which sort of normally gets you safe, it's you don't mean to do it, but the handbrake just comes up a little bit, yeah? It's subconsciously, it just happens, right? Subconsciously, Cigar comes out and you're thinking, we're safe, job is done.
Because it's a team like Forest.
Because Forest's objective this season, genuinely, probably another dozen teams, is to stay in the league. It sounds bad, Forest fans will go, no, we wanted to, you could see it, and I get it, and I understand that, but higher up, the manager, the owner, it'll be consolidation. Yeah, we consolidate the season. We don't get relegated. Simple as that. So it will be the big test at Christmas time. But they've got very good lads in the team, is what I will say. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did get top 8.
They scored some good goals as well. Obviously, Woods scored a goal, but then Hudson-Odoi. Yeah. How do you pronounce it? Aina. Mate, what a goal!
Yeah, fantastic, lovely. But they've got really good players all over the pitch. Really, really good players.
I like the fact that they've got Chris Wood as a focal point. Yeah, because you've got Hudson-Odoi, Elanga, Gibbs-White's back.
Get it up to him, get round it. Hudson-Odoi, little ballers, little players. But we were speaking about it before the show. Actually, people like Callum Hudson-Odoi who got the big move early doors. They're at Chelsea. They're on the big money, and then it doesn't work out for them. It's the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah. You have to go away. You have to learn a different trade somewhere else, playing different football, and it looks like your career's on a downward spiral. And then you get given a chance to go to somewhere like Forest, where you might think, oh, really? Like, I've been used to Chelsea. I've been used to buying. I've been used to all these, and then it's where it all kick-starts again. And it's nice to see, isn't it?
It is. It's really nice seeing. Same with Solanke as well. Like, obviously.
Yeah, true, yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the coming years as well, because I look at some of the young players coming through academies now, and they get so young. They get put on these big contracts, and some of them have got that attitude. Yeah, think we've made it. Like, I'm not saying that Hudson-Odoi and Solanke are like that, but there will be people in academies that are thinking that. So they'll think that, and then all of a sudden a little bit of realism hits, and then that they might lose that opportunity, get released, and they might have to go and have that reality check somewhere, and all of a sudden they've got to build the career back up. So it might just be something that they just need.
It's like you say there. It's that too much too soon, too early. It loses your hunger. I promise you, it does.
They're not established. Like Hudson-Odoi, there was talk of him going to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, exactly.
For like 60, 70 mil.
Massive money, massive
and then
moves.
18 months later, he goes to, £3 million.
But it's sometimes it is a blessing in disguise, I promise you. Because like you say, you get given all this, you lose your hunger, you're like, I ain't really got to lift a finger, I ain't got to work. I've got another 3 years on 150 grand a week. I'm cooking. Absolutely. And again, subconsciously, you take your finger off the pulse a little bit, and then reality check hits, and it's like, wow, you know what? I've got to start doing a bit now.
Yeah, especially if you're at a big club as well. Like, there's a few branches to hit on the way down. So, like, if you leave Chelsea, for example, you might go to a club just below Chelsea, and it might not be that one that gives you the wake-up call. It might be the next one, and you go, hold on a sec, like there's a theme happening here. Yeah, exactly. Like, I need to pull my finger out. I need to get back up.
I like it. It's good to see, though. It is good to see somebody like a Forest at this point in the season, 10 games gone, third in the Premier League. It's class.
Yeah, we've got to give a little shout out. Goalkeepers Union. It was a shame they were getting pumped at the time.
Yeah.
Fabianski, those two saves, mate.
Super Lucas Fabian. I love him, mate, honestly. The double save, world class. The save at the end as well, top-hander.
Full.
No, it wasn't a top-hander, was it?
I think it was, weren't it?
Either way, world-class save. Proper goalie, though. He's somebody that, like, Areola this season has been a bit in and out, and I would just say not too reliable, really, because you need your goalie to be an ever-present and solid as well. 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10. And that's what you'll get with Lucas Fabianski. He's made a career of doing it since he left Arsenal, and really happy for him.
Do you think at that age, though, so he's nearly 40, isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think there's... Because a lot of time when goalies get to that age, you said when you were at Wrexham, you lose that spring, that like almost that real dynamite kind of movement.
What you lose in your speed and your agility and your reflexes, you gain in nous and reading the game and calmness, and that's the bit that you can really infect the rest of the team with as well. Is if you're nice and calm in all the situations, it breeds so much happiness between your the rest of the team. It spreads throughout it, and I think that's what Fabianski gives.
Yeah, okay. What about your old boys, Leicester, Mark?
Yeah, I think that's a decent point for them. I do think that's a good point for them. It's been a mixed bag to start, but what I would say is I don't think they could have been hoping for much more. Yeah. Like, I don't think they should have expected much more so far this season. I think they've picked up points where they probably weren't thinking that they would get points, and they've dropped points in games where they should be picking up points. So it's been hit and miss, but I think they've over the course of the season, if they just go like steady, it's not gonna be all singing, all dancing. They're not gonna win like the games that they'd be hoping to win. They're not going to be beating the big boys, and there's going to be teams around them because they are a promoted team. there is going to be games where maybe 4 years ago they would have expected to win, whereas now that's changed a little bit. That's changed the expectations.
What's a realistic finish for Leicester this season?
Just stay in the league.
Yeah, simple as that.
Stay in the league.
Yeah.
I think they'll finish somewhere where they are now. They're 15th. I think they'll be comfortably safe.
I think it's a decent start for them. I think if you look at this, like the points total from the games played, forget about the actual facts and figures of the games they've lost and the games they've won. If you've got that many points, I think at the start of the season, if you'd said that to Leicester, they'd have gone, yeah, take that.
I think the big thing for me, looking at their start this season, the big thing for me is how they've come from behind so many times. So that, to me, says they've got character, they've got a bit of fight in them because they've gone behind in so many games now and they've fought their way back. They're scoring late goals, late winners, late equalisers here and there. And that's going to be crucial.
Talk to me about Jamie Vardy's assist, right? And please try and explain it, right, in real detail and just how good of an assist this is in the 94th minute or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, for starters, it's on his left foot.
Yeah.
So that makes it even harder. It's on your weaker foot. But just the composure that he has to do it. Being a natural goal scorer as well, in that point of the game, there must have been something in his head thinking, can I spin on this and finish? Like, there must be.
So close to goal, isn't it?
So close. He has to be so delicate with it, don't it? But
he softens it. He softens it so much.
Just lets it hit his foot, doesn't it?
It's beautiful.
And it's just in his path, and like the finish is obviously good. I think I had one saved or one cleared off the line just before, a similar chance. So I think, like the assists incredible. He just keeps going.
Fozzie said to me earlier on, I said off camera, I said, mate, genuinely look at England. I said, I think Jamie Vardy could still play for England. He went, I dare you to say that on camera. I dare you to say that. I was like, mate, I will. I genuinely
would
think.
it be to see?
Oh, it'd be the best to see.
Even at the next World Cup.
Oh, it'd be the
imagine
best
that.
to see.
But it's the same as Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck could play for England, but he won't because he's 33.
Yeah, I know. But there's not many players at the 94th minute of a game, that calmness and composure, and he has threaded it through the eye of a needle. Like, the defender gets across and you back him to clear that all day long, and he's stretching and he's giving everything he can, just can't quite get it. And that, like you say, the calmness, especially when you're a striker, because all he wants to do is hit that. He wants to hit it first time into the goal, I swear, or take a touch, spin, goal. That's what he wants to do. But to be that much of a team player and that calm, I was just like,
And what about Leif Davis' goal?
Beautiful. That's a beautiful goal. Do you know why it's a beautiful goal? Because he's come onto it inside of his foot and done that sort of like, the little curl like
That
this.
Shearer type.
Remember that one? Beautiful.
And he kisses the post.
Yeah, it's like the opposite curl of what you should be getting with your left foot there.
Yeah.
Your left foot naturally wants to curl the other way, but he's opened it up and almost hit it with the heel part of his inside of his foot, which puts that other curl on it. It's phenomenal.
I was in his interview after the game and he was like, we've been practicing that. And I was thinking, who practices that?
First time, inside of the foot, putting the opposite curl on it. No chance.
Nobody practices
Absolutely
that.
no chance.
But unbelievable technique.
If Ipswich want to get safe this season, though, they need to stop giving up late goals. They need to stop losing or drawing when they're
They
winning.
were unlucky, though. That I think it was at Fatawu on Chaplin.
Yeah.
That, in my eyes, that's a stonewaller.
Probably.
And then 5 seconds later, Kalvin Phillips is getting a red card.
But Kalvin Phillips needs to be clever. He has to be better. He has to be better. When you're 1-0 up and you're holding on to a lead, you know Leicester are going to give it a late charge. You just know that. You've seen their previous game. You have to be more careful. You can't go dangling a leg in like that, can you?
I agree. I think it's a penalty. I think he's quite rash with the challenge. But then, and I know it's in the same action, so if that penalty gets given, the red card don't get given, I get it. But that's a red card as well.
It is.
I think
it's a red card. It's as simple as that.
I think it's a penalty, and I think it's a red card.
And when you're playing for Ipswich and you're an established, he's an England player, you know. He's played at the biggest, highest level. You can't go doing that.
And I know they're saying, but he's pulled out. Like, he hasn't pulled out enough for me.
He hasn't
pulled out enough. He's pulled out too late, if anything.
There you go, Jay. So Jamie earlier, he goes, I don't think it's a red. He said he hasn't really sort of like gone for it though. And I went, it's enough though, Jay. It's enough.
It is.
At that pace, when the ball is moving and you're moving a player, it's enough. When you're doing that, it's enough. It's as simple as that. And it's a red card. You can't do it.
I think Ricardo Pereira's clever as well.
Yeah,
like he sees it coming. He feels the slightest bit of contact. Like, he knows he's on a yellow card.
Yeah.
Done.
But any player would do the same.
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
The same. Anybody player would, if they see that player coming in recklessly like that, you're going, fool you, mate. More fool you.
Yeah.
Up to Anfield, Fozzie. Mate, this is the world's biggest cliche. talk about a game of two halves.
Yeah, game of two. This was a fantastic game, by the way. Game of chances, end to end. Fair play to Brighton, played their part as well, because they went 1 up, but could have gone 2 up, could have gone 3 up. It's a bit like Bournemouth at Man City. Most teams don't go away to Anfield and then just keep going. But you know what you're going to get with a Brighton. You know what you're going to get with a Bournemouth. Relentless. They'll just keep going. They play their way, simple as that. But fair play to Liverpool to sort of hold on, stay in there, changed it a bit at half-time. Obviously, put a bit of a rocket up them. But it's a massive win for Liverpool.
As each
really
game
is.
goes on, every week now we're going, are Liverpool contenders? Are Liverpool contenders?
They've got to be
But
contenders.
each game that goes on, and when you look at that half-time and you go, look at Slot's obviously lit a fire underneath them at half-time and gone, is he the difference? Obviously, he's not on the pitch, but has he made the difference at half-time? Is he earning his money? And is that 3 points gained? Quite possibly.
10 games gone right, 8 wins out of 10 when you've taken over a new club.
So we're past the quarter.
In the Premier League is phenomenal, yeah? For anybody. If it's Man City doing that, you're saying that's phenomenal. But for a new manager to come in, off the back of a Jurgen Klopp as well, it's phenomenal. It really is. It's ridiculous.
I think Brighton should have put the game to bed, though.
Should have put the game to bed.
Like, you can't...
Again,
can't
goes back
miss
to
the
putting the
chances.
ball in the back of the net. If you're ruthless in front of goal, you'll win games.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, isn't it?
They should have had that wrapped up at half-time. It should have been 3-0, like, done. And then all of a sudden, like, as good as Liverpool are, like, as soon as Liverpool get that equaliser in the second half, there's just something that sucks that ball. It just keeps
especially
coming.
at Anfield.
Oh my God, it's just relentless. He just keeps coming and coming, like, and you can't get out.
I know.
Like, you just cannot get out, and just the intensity.
In the end, Verbruggen had to make a couple like real decent saves. I guarantee you, as a goalie as well, he'd have been making saves. He'd been watching them missing chances. He'd have come off the pitch going, "Any chance of my team?" Today.
Gakpo's kind of, you could argue, a little bit fortunate, but you put the ball in good places and you get that from time to time, don't you?
Yeah.
But that Salah goal, obviously, we're going to talk about, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Legend of the club. Is he going to stay? Isn't he going to stay? But without taking anything away, Estupiñán's got to do a little bit better. You know what's happening.
You can't.
Or is that easier said than done?
You can't let Mo Salah come inside, Mark.
No, you can't. You've seen it so often. And this is why I think you've always got to say that Liverpool are contenders for the title, because they've got someone like Mo Salah in the team. Like, that, they have to be contenders all the time. He just does it every single time. He has to get closer. Just show him down the line. Yeah. He'll probably stick it in with his right foot, but
get
who
closer,
knows?
show him
get closer.
outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he does put it in with his right foot, then you go, fair
yeah,
dues.
what can I do?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
This is, for me then, a massive, massive problem for Liverpool. They've got the 3 players who are out of contract in the summer, Trent, Virgil and Mo Salah. If you're at this point in the season and you've played football for a long time, Mark, and you'll have seen situations like this, but if you get to this stage in the season and you've got 3 of the best players in their positions in the world out of contract, that's not good news, is it?
No, you have to get that wrapped up as soon as possible. That could be a stumbling block, like, in terms of them winning the league, because it could cause unrest, it could cause uncertainty, and all of a sudden, like, the player might get upset by something, or the club might get upset by something that the player does in terms of the contract talks. You have to get it wrapped up. A club like Liverpool...
Do you think they will get it wrapped up, though? Because I don't think I've ever seen... Virgil and Mo are a little bit different. They're a little bit older, and sometimes you do let players' contracts run down a little bit when they're older. It happened with Jordan Henderson a few years ago, didn't it? He eventually signed a new contract. It is what it is. And it wouldn't surprise me if they did sign. I think Salah's gone, because I think the Instagram post that he put out at the end of the game was, I'll never forget this. Regardless of what happens, I'll never forget the feeling of scoring a goal at Anfield. And
this is what it creates. The fact that, like you just said,
like that.
This is what it creates, because everyone hangs on and they'll create a different connotation.
But that says something to me. It really does. But for a player like Trent, who's still not even at his peak yet, I still don't think he's even at his peak. One of the best right wing backs in world football, to not have that contract sorted yet, I think is I think that tells me that he's probably got ideas.
I've got a question for you then. If you're a Liverpool fan, in order, what contracts are you tying up first? I want 1, 2, 3. Who's first, second, third on your list?
You want?
See, I've got a bit of a strange feeling on this. So I do think, right, if you can wrap the Trent one up, like, wrap that up early, like, I get that. But then at the same time, I'm saying that, I think if they're going to lose one of the 3, I would say he's more replaceable than the other two.
Yeah, he is more replaceable.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking in terms of longevity. Like I'm thinking in the future. Like if that's the biggest contract for me.
Yeah.
Because the length that it'll be, the money that it'll be. Yeah. Like whereas Salah and Van Dijk, I think. Right, give them 2 years.
2 more years,
just
probably on the same money.
On the same money.
That is an easy contract. Yeah, it's an easy contract.
It's simple. So, yeah, I probably would say Trent, Salah, Van Dijk.
I totally agree. That's exactly what I think it is. It's Trent, Salah, Virgil. And I think that Virgil will sign, I think Salah will go, and I think Trent will go to Real Madrid.
Do you think if they signed, do you think if they announced tomorrow, let's say, do you think if they announced tomorrow and said, Mo Salah has signed a new 2-year deal at the club, do you think VVD and Trent fall in? Or do you think it's not about that? Is that a romantic football notion of, no, listen, mate, it's getting the right contract?
Don't work like that.
Do you think they would be speaking to each other, them 3 of them? Do you think they'd be speaking, right, what's happening with you? Like if you're going, I'm not staying.
You guys must know. Do these conversations
that's how it works. It does happen a bit. It really does.
But I don't obviously, I've never been at Liverpool, that's another level.
But if Liverpool lose Trent, Virgil and Mo Salah, even if they lose 2 of them, right, that can set Liverpool back 5 years. You can't replace the best player in the world in that position like that, It don't work like that. You can't go and replace Mo Salah. You can't replace him full stop. Basically.
No,
you can't.
You
can't replace the best Premier League centre-back for the last 5-6 years. You can't replace that. And even Trent, who hasn't even come to the peak of his powers yet, it's impossible to replace. You're talking 150 million quid for each one of them if you want to replace them. Yeah. Simple as that.
Because if 2 of them go, one of them, the one that stays is going, what? Yeah. What's happening here? What are your plans to replace them to?
So if they're top at Christmas, again, is this a football? Does that make any bearing on them signing? So if they're top, let's say 4 points clear on Boxing Day, would that influence a player, or is it still just...
Right, listen, back in the day, it might have a bearing, it would have an influence. Now we've got Saudi money, it completely changes it. I think it always completely changes it, because once you get to a certain age of Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk, you can go, right, realistically at this point, I've played all the top matches, I've done everything I need to do, basically, I have. I can go to Saudi on a 2-year deal, 3-year deal on £1 million a week. It's as simple as that. You can, and that's done. That's life done. I've completed everything, right? Trent, though, still needs to go and win stuff. He wants to go and get, he even said it himself, Ballon d'Or. He wants to go and win Champions League. He wants to play, I think, for Real Madrid. And I think that is what will happen. I really do.
Real Madrid so
of course he would. Of course he'd suit Real Madrid. But Trent is the one that's probably got Liverpool over the barrel more, because Virgil and Mo Salah, it will be another year or 2 year on about the same money. It will be, because they're already on incredible wages. Trent, though, realistically could be saying to Liverpool, give me 500 grand a week or else I'm going to go.
I want to be top earner.
Exactly that. Give me 500 grand a week or I'm going to go. And he can say that. He really can. Because if he goes to Real Madrid on a free transfer, whatever way they structure it with signing on fees, he'll get 500 grand a week at Real Madrid.
It's so interesting to see how it's going to pan out, isn't it?
It could go the other way. Obviously, if they're top at Christmas, they could be going, right, okay, well, regardless, we'll be here at the end of the season. So, right, let's go out on a high. Let's go out lifting the Premier League trophy.
Yeah, they could.
So it could
I want to see all 3 of them stay, because I love watching all 3 of them play. I love it.
It makes the league better.
It makes the league better. It makes it more competitive, having Liverpool pop in, Arsenal pop in, Man City pop in. That's what you want, right? You want the best players as well. And I love watching Mo Salah. I have him in my dream team every season, guaranteed, because I know that he'll give me points. It's going to be massive. It's massive for Liverpool.
I'll tell you what's even bigger. The game at Molineux next weekend.
I don't know about that.
Wolves, Southampton, right? Having watched it at the weekend, and I've stuck by O'Neill, right? I'm a Wolves fan, Matt. If Wolves do not win that game, he's going to go.
So where at Southampton?
Home. Home to Southampton.
Away gives you a little bit of leeway.
No, it doesn't, because we've just drawn to Palace.
Home is
just drawn to Brighton.
Have to win.
And we've passed the big games of just ridiculously hard fixtures. If we do not beat Southampton, I think he's going to go.
You know football fairly well, Mark, right? if after 11 games you haven't got one Premier League win, at the start of the season especially, yeah, you would 100% be expecting your manager to have already been sacked or be sacked, wouldn't you? And I understand everything about it with Wolves, I really do, and I feel really sorry for them because I watch them play and they're a good team. And
You don't.
No, I do. I watched them at the weekend. They were fantastic. It was a good game, a really good game. They're going to score goals. They always will. The games that they've lost this season against all the big boys have only been 2-1. They're only losing by the odd goal. So they're obviously in games and they're creating chances and they're scoring goals. But stats don't lie. And if after 11 games you haven't won a Premier League game, you know that it's almost inevitable.
Something has to change. Something has to change there. And like, I hate talking about like managed being sacked and stuff. I hate the thought of it because I think it happens too often. But at the same time, they need to make that change. Like I say, something needs to change. That change needs to happen before they're out of touch with everything else. Like as soon as
it happens quickly, doesn't it?
With Southampton winning at the weekend as well. Yeah. And like I said, I've always been like, give managers chance. But then you look at the run from the end of last season, and it's like one win in, I don't know, like 20 or something like that. So I can't remember the exact fact, but you do look at it and go, if we lost or drew to Southampton, it's a big, big problem. And it's like to say that a manager's job hinges on one game, I don't think that's an over-exaggeration.
Especially at home. Because against Palace at the weekend, actually, when Palace scored first, the crowd boos straight away, ringing out. So it's obvious that they're at that sort of tipping point now, I'd say the Wolves fans are. It was a good game, though. I actually really enjoyed the game, to be fair. The big talking point was probably at the end of the game, wasn't it, with Mateta coming through on Jose Sa about whether he got... I agree with you, like what you said earlier. I think it probably should have been disallowed.
Harty broke it down, didn't he, on Match of the Day? And I think the rule is, you said, Ben, if he's got a hand on the ball under control. The ball is obviously on the grass, it's deemed under control. And again, as a Wolves fan, I think we got away with one.
Kasper Schmeichel had one. I don't know if you were there, actually. Kasper Schmeichel had one at Leicester a few years back, and it was exactly the same sort of thing. It might have been, I don't know if it was a Champions League match or what, but he had the ball, hand on the ball, under control, and then somebody kicked it out or something, and the ball got disallowed. And I remember at the time thinking, you've only got one hand on the ball. You've got to have both hands on the ball. And that's not the rule, though. The rule is if you've got one hand on the ball, on the grass, under control,
but we say it every week. It's so quick. Football is so fast.
I didn't even know that rule. Honestly, I didn't even know that rule. So, but I saw it and straight away I went, "That's probably a foul." To be fair, that's probably a foul. But you see it in slow mo. It's a bit of a grey area one.
Yeah, I think he touches his arm just enough to sort of move, so it moves his arm off the ball, and
that's the bit. Isn't it?
That's the bit that I think. Yeah.
I just hope Wolves can hold on to Cunha, because if we lose him,
he must be getting frustrated though, because he's the one that's creating everything is going through him. And some of the chances that they're missing, it's criminal.
I know,
he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he is a very good player.
Appreciation for your mate, Ben, Rambo.
Go on, Rambo. Big performance. Needed this as well. They rode their luck a little bit, Southampton did. I think it was better, wasn't it? Had one off a crossbar.
Yeah.
Rambo got sort of caught out for one that I think he put over or wide. And then obviously the offside goal at the end. But this for Southampton is massive, isn't it? Absolutely massive. These are the games, we speak about it every week, but there's certain teams and certain games you look at and you go, that has to be 3 point per. That has to be.
Football's mad, isn't it? Because I look at this and I last week I got it massively wrong, as I tend to do, and I said with Southampton being a little bit frail or a little bit maybe a bit of a soft underbelly, I thought a Daichi team.
Direct Daichi.
I think I said they're going to turn them over big time. Obviously, they win 1-0.
It was probably I don't fully agree with the way that Southampton play. I think sometimes it's too much. Watching this game, it worked a treat. They beat the press. They were getting all this space. How there was it worked perfectly. It was it was like they was a mid to sort of higher,
just popping, having a nice time.
Side. Yeah, they was enjoying themselves.
Do they carry that on though? Do they keep doing that?
That's the problem.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't think it's sustainable in the Premier League.
You're going to get the odd game,
games.
The odd style of team that it's going to come together, isn't it? Because the amount of times, like you said, they beat the press and they had that overload and they just had so much time, and you thought, They have done Everton.
I want to see Southampton go on like a 10-game winning run now, doing this, playing out from that popping tee. Everybody starts copying them. This is the new way to play football, and we're all just going to have to eat our words.
Russell Martin's going to Barca, mate. At the end of the season.
That's what I'm saying, mate. I agree with you, Mark. I think it's not sustainable, and it worked for this game. And it looks fantastic when it does work, but it's too risky. It is. He's playing against too many good players, quick players, strong players. That it's not going to be sustainable.
In dangerous areas as well.
Really dangerous.
And you've got a little bit of beef, haven't you, Ben? So Idrissa Gueye, white leggings, beginning of November.
Matt, talk to me.
I didn't actually see that.
Mate, he's got white leggings on, right?
Nah,
White
that can't
leggings
happen.
on, yeah?
It can't happen.
On the south coast, away at Southampton, it's 15 degrees it was on Saturday.
Oh,
no. 15 degrees and he's got white leggings. I'm thinking, nah, game's gone, lads. Game has gone. It's done.
Yeah, that can't happen.
Were you a snood guy or training? Freezing cold? Come on.
Occasionally in training, if it was like ridiculous temperatures. But no, I was, jumper. Maybe trousers, like depending on the session.
This is training, only for training. You're not talking about on a pitch on a Saturday afternoon.
No, like occasionally an Under Armour in a game.
Yeah,
like
that's it.
Occasionally, but the rest of the time shorts and t-shirt.
What about you in training? Because you must have been, like I know you do your goalie sessions, but if you're like playing, I don't know, like a walking through tactics or something, you must be getting
You
cold.
bundle up in training, it's completely different. Like goalies have to bundle up, we're diving around, we're getting wet, soaked through, and then when you go and do set pieces or match tactics, you're walking, you just stood there, you're stiff, you're freezing cold, so you've got to make sure. I'll probably normally take a big, massive fat coat with me when we're walking through it and I just stick it on.
I'm just stood there. Did you take heat? You love a heat pad, don't you? Did you
ever? Not under the gloves, no. You can't put them under your gloves, no. You lose the feel of the ball. But I'm the same as you, Mark. On a Saturday afternoon, on a pitch, I would be wearing Under Armour and my jersey, and that's it. No leggings, no nothing.
What you like?
Soft, mate. Soft they are.
What you like at quizzes?
Oh, we'll see.
We will see, won't we? Tom's on fire at the minute. He thinks he's the main man.
You're the man to beat.
Jamie, we good?
I've got momentum. Momentum. You hear about it in elite level sport. I've got momentum. Yeah.
Do you get given momentum or do you take momentum?
You take momentum. I take it off you every week, mate.
There you go. Come on, then, let's go.
Right, everyone, we're back with the football filling quiz today. We've got 10 questions. It's Mark's first show today. Can you get the first point for the guests? That's the big question.
Yeah, there's no pressure. Don't seem any pressure.
I like it. What's pressure for?
Ties.
That's for single mums. What did Mourinho say, didn't he? I'm not pressure. What is pressure? Oh, I'm like a single mum, and he went on to that thing. Do you remember?
Oh, I was going down the Alan Shearer route. Pressure for tyres.
Oh. Yeah, misjudged that one.
Yeah.
Come on then, Jiminy, let's go. Wow.
Question 1. Which Australian has the most clean sheets in Premier League?
Mark Schwarzer.
Mark Schwarzer is the correct answer, and it was Ben.
Thank you. It
Ben,
was Ben. I know it was Ben.
It was Ben.
You
He
were
was in
panicking.
the Leicester Premier League winning team, wasn't he? Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, top guy. Real professional as well. Shredded. Couldn't believe
We
it.
saw him in the Euros, and he looked
Athlete,
$1 million.
still an athlete.
Yeah, great guy.
152 clean sheets.
Wow.
Question 2. Who scored Wigan's goal in their FA Cup win?
Ben
Watson.
Damn it! Mark. Quick, this is very quick.
Damn, the level's gone up.
Yeah.
Question 3. Manchester United's new manager, Ruben Amorim, previously managed Sporting Lisbon, but which club won La Liga Portugal last season?
Benfica.
No.
Damn.
What, last season is in
Yeah, last season. Which club won?
Sporting Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon's the correct answer.
It's a bad question.
I'll take it, but yeah. Why are you laughing at Luke?
Is this a Jamie
That was
question?
Luke's question.
Oh, okay.
Bad question.
Great question, Luke.
Question 4, career path question. I have played for VfB Stuttgart 2, RB Leipzig, Chelsea, RB Leipzig, Tottenham loan.
Werner.
Werner's the correct answer.
On fire today.
Was it 2-1-1?
Yep.
Question 5 is a who am I question.
Oh, I like these ones.
So sorry, Luke. I have played in the Premier League for Chelsea, but spent most of my career in the Bundesliga, where I've won the title 8 times.
Michael Ballack.
No.
Oh, no, he didn't. Did he?
I have also won the Champions League final where I scored the winning goal. I am known for my trademark move by cutting in on my left foot.
Robin.
Good question, that.
Good question.
Good question, that. I like that. They're good thinking questions.
Thanks.
You ain't got time to say the first name here, all right? You got to go straight surname. Straight surname.
I won up on the questions. They'll be on next week as well. Question 6. Who scored the first goal in the Tottenham Hotspur game?
Solanke.
No.
Brennan Johnson.
No.
Right, go for the question, Jay.
All the time. Who scored the first goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at Spurs in Spurs' 4-1 win versus Aston Villa?
Morgan Rogers.
Morgan Rogers.
Such a
Correct
tackle.
answer.
Such a doddle.
See, sometimes when you gamble,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's where it's through.
That's where the patient man
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. Comes through.
So what are the scores?
2-2-1.
2-2-1. Question 7. There's 10 questions, by the way.
No, isn't it 3-2-1? Isn't it?
Robin, Werner, and who else did I get? I got the first one.
Mark Schwarzer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love
3-2-1.
that. Well done.
Honesty's the best policy.
Yeah, well done.
Which team has lost the most FA Cup finals? Which team?
Chelsea.
No. Which team have lost the most FA Cup finals? 5, 4. Don't look at the shirts. 3, 2.
Man
Manchester
United.
United.
Manchester United. He's got it. They've lost 9 FA Cup finals.
Wow.
Manchester
How many questions
United.
Why
left?
didn't I say it earlier?
2.
I was thinking it
4-2-1.
all the way through. It was on 5, 4, 3. I was thinking
4-2-1.
4-2-1.
Just don't want Ben to win.
Haters.
Anyone but Ben.
Question 8. Which current Premier League stadium is last in alphabetical order?
Vitality.
Vitality.
Well
Oh,
done.
really
Quick.
good.
I mean, you've ruined the quiz. 'cause-
Really good.
Hasn't ruined the quiz. I think still
2 questions
2
left.
questions left.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, we're both in. Sorry, mate.
4,
Really good.
4, 3, 1. All right.
No, 4-2-2, is it?
4-2-2, yeah. Is it not the Vitality Stadium?
Oh, come on.
No, it's Vitality
Nah, come on.
Nah.
I'm just saying, all right?
No,
It's
no.
not Vitality Stadium, 100%.
Ben, come on.
Okay.
Question 9. Jude Bellingham became the first Englishman to be named in the top 3 in the Ballon d'Or since 2005. But can you name one of the 2 players who were Englishmen in 2005?
McLaren.
No, both wrong. All the time. I'll read the question again.
Please.
Jude Bellingham became the first Englishman to be named in the top 3 in the Ballon d'Or this year since 2005. But can you name the 2 Englishmen
I know.
in 2005?
Both of them.
One of them. One of them.
One of them. 2005.
Got to be a timer, isn't there?
Not yet.
It's got to be a striker.
Don't be lenient on the guests, Jay.
Got to be a striker.
5,
Oh, no.
4, 3.
John Terry.
No.
And you're saying back in?
When you got to give us a countdown to back in then, okay?
Oh,
You're back in.
Gerrard.
Wayne Rooney!
Gerrard.
They won the Champions League, didn't they?
Gerrard. I think Gerrard came second and the other one was...
Wayne Rooney.
No.
What did you show?
No.
Whoa!
Maybe
Yeah.
Your reaction was slow as well. Frank Lampard was the other one.
Because they won Istanbul was 05, weren't it?
Was there?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Well done, Tom.
4-3-2.
Come on!
Final question.
Come on, come back some.
Question 10. Who was Darren Bent's last permanent club before he retired?
Sunderland.
No.
Derby.
Correct.
Yes!
Well done, Ben.
Yes! It means so much.
Derby?
It means so
Derby County.
much.
So we went Burton Derby.
Ooh, maybe Derby, Burton Derby.
But it was 100% Derby County.
Derby.
No, it was last permanent club. It wasn't the loan, so it was the last permanent club.
Well done, Benji.
Thank you,
done,
lads.
Yeah, well done.
Hey,
Well done.
fantastic today.
Cheers,
Luke,
mate.
world-class question.
Is that evened it up, hasn't it? 4-4? Is it me and Ben?
I did the questions.
I'm nervous, lads. I'm sweating and I'm nervous.
My hands are gone.
My heart rate's going. What's my Garmin saying? Just 75.
84?
Ramped it up there.
Mate, world class.
Yeah, very, very good.
enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching, you lot. Get in the comments down below. Let us know how good Mark was today. He was fantastic, wasn't he? Should we get him back? I reckon we probably should. And let us know about the set as well. I'm quite happy with the set.
Yeah, finishing touches now.
See you next week.